Good afternoon and welcome to the ceremony at the University of York. I declare open the ceremony for the conferment of awards. Please be seated.
Chancellor, it's a great honor and a privilege to introduce our Honorary Graduand, Sir Partha Dasgupta. Sir Partha is a leading name in welfare and development economics, as well as in environmental and resource economics, with substantial contributions to policy in each of these key areas. He spent most of his professional life working on issues regarding poverty and inequality and the relationship between human and environmental well-being, where his work made a fundamental change to our understanding of sustainable development. Sir Partha was born in Dhaka, which was then in India, and completed his BSc in physics at the University of Delhi before reading mathematics at Trinity College, University of Cambridge. This was followed by a PhD in economics, again at Cambridge, during which he started his lifelong work on issues population, growth, and resources. Throughout his ensuing career, Sir Partha held a number of key positions, including those at the London School of Economics, Stanford University, and the University of Cambridge, where he is currently the Frank Ramsey Emeritus Professor of Economics. He is also currently part-time Professor of Environmental and Development Economics at the University of Manchester's Sustainable Consumption Institute. Sir Partha has been chasing key economic questions from the streets of Calcutta, where he spent his early days, to the Vatican, where he co-chaired the committee that advised Pope Francis on the scientific basis of climate change. His observations while walking the streets of Calcutta led him on a quest to answer crucial questions which form the basis of his work with fundamental consequences. Of his experiences in Calcutta, he wrote, "I saw women begging and some had children with them. It was part of life. On one occasion, I saw a baby about a year old lying next to her mother with flies on her face. It was a moving sight, but I began wondering why she wasn't swatting the flies away." Such observations prompted Sir Partha to explore the relationship between nutrition and health and their implications for human productivity. His interest then extended to the value of natural resources, population, and sustainability. Sir Partha's work advocates a new measure of the wealth of nations, an alternative to the currently used GDP, the gross domestic product, that quantifies what nations produce and consume. Sir Partha argues for an entirely different measure that would take into account whether societies grow in a way that benefit all generations, including future generations. Such a measure would account for inequality across the existing member of societies as well as that across generations. This alternative measure, referred to as inclusive wealth, contains not only the value of a nation's human capital, but also the value of its natural capital, incorporating environmental health, ecosystems, and natural resources. Sir Partha's work shows that future generations will have a better quality of life if only an economy's inclusive wealth grows at a pace faster than its population. These findings form the basis of a major United Nations initiative, the Inclusive Wealth Project, for which Sir Partha is the chair of the scientific committee. Sir Partha's far-reaching work has been globally recognized, therefore it's impossible to list all the awards he has received, so I can only mention a fraction of those. Sir Partha has the rare distinction of being a fellow of both the British Academy and the Royal Society, as well as being a foreign associate of the US National Academy of Sciences. He was knighted by Her Majesty in 2002 for services to economics. He was co-recipient of 2002 Volvo Economics Prize, recipient of Penn John Kenneth Galbraith Award 2007, and the 2015 Blue Planet Prize for Environmental Research. Among a large number of other awards, he also received the 2016 Tyler Prize, the premier award for environmental science, recognizing his substantial contributions to the understanding of the relationship between human and environmental well-being. Chancellor, at the current conjuncture with record global inequality and massive environmental challenges, the significance of his work cannot be overstated. And it's therefore with great pleasure that I present to you Sir Partha Dasgupta for the degree of Doctor of the University honoris causa.
Well, obviously, it's a tremendous honor and a pleasure to be here, but one thought is inevitable. Are my colleagues here trying to tell me something about my age? That maybe my time has come and this is a retirement present. On the other hand, when I look at the Chancellor and the Vice-Chancellor, I say to myself, why do they remind me of the headmaster and the deputy headmaster of my school way back in India, who looked at me and made me feel as though I wasn't working hard enough. I want to just say that work doesn't end. Their charming remarks on my work, the idea could be that I may have solved some problems, but every problem you solve raises two others. It's like a hydra, cut off a neck, and some further ones crop up. Intergenerational equity, to which mention was made, is becoming a really urgent problem in the following sense, and I'll very briefly give you a direction of research which some of you might find useful in your own thinking. Not a month goes by when a book isn't published telling us that, on average, on the whole, the world has never had it so good, or humanity has never had it so good. And there is a great deal of truth in that. We live longer, we eat better, we're better educated, and we have, of course, a much higher standard of living than any time in the past. Let's say the last 100 years or so. On the other hand, if you look at the states of the world, natural world, recent work, particularly on biogeochemical signatures, suggests that in the last 65 years or so, and this is a very precise kind of signature being recorded, there's been a dramatic increase in these signatures over the 65-year period, from about 1950 onwards. Very, very carbon concentration is, of course, one example, but there are plenty others. The reason I trust it, one reason is I have good friends in the ecology and environmental sciences departments throughout the world, and without trust, science can't progress. What they tell me I have to take on board, what I tell them they ought to take on board. One reason it's perfectly convincing is that it's consistent with macroeconomic data. Since 1950, in the last 65 years or so, the world output has expanded by a factor of 15. Now, that's a huge increase in the stress that the Earth system would be subjected to if so much of economic activities take place. So the question arises as to whether we're living on borrowed times. The interesting question really is to find these socio-environmental processes which could have led to us being where we are, and what correctives perhaps we could apply and deploy. That's not for one person. It's for a couple of generations at least, but we have to buy some time to do that. And this is a great university for that, precisely that kind of concentrated work amongst disciplines, professionals bringing to their expertise in a manner of trust to see what avenues we have to curb the demand we are making on nature. So as I say, Chancellor, it's a great honor, but I wouldn't want you to think that I have retired yet. And if you thought that I showed some promise, I want to do better. Thank you very much.
Chancellor, it is an honour and a privilege to introduce our Honorary Graduand, Dame Hazel Genn. She is currently Dean of Laws, Professor of Socio-Legal Studies, and co-director of the UCL Judicial Institute in the Faculty of Laws at University College London. For non-lawyers, it is easy to imagine that law is a dry subject found only in law reports and statutes, often a long way away from the day-to-day concerns of ordinary people and their experiences of law. Of course, that is not correct today, but it has taken the pioneering work of Dame Hazel and her generation of socio-legal scholars to make that happen. Dame Hazel's work has focused on the experiences of ordinary people caught up in legal problems and the responsiveness of the justice system to the needs of citizens. When her career started in the 1970s at Oxford University Centre for Socio-Legal Studies and the Cambridge Institute of Criminology, it was still rare for the tools of social science to be used to analyse the working of the legal system. Through a series of pioneering studies that continue to the current day, Dame Hazel has set the bar for socio-legal scholarship on the civil justice system. I will focus on just two which capture the essence of her work. First, in Paths to Justice, What People Do and Think About Going to Law, in 1999, she presented the results of the largest survey of public attitudes towards the civil justice system ever conducted by either an independent party or government agency. This survey explored the behaviour of the public in dealing with potential legal disputes and problems, as well as potential plaintiffs or defendants. It identified the strategies adopted by those involved in possible justiciable events to resolve or conclude the matter, use of courts and alternative dispute resolution, and the factors that propel litigants towards the legal system. As one reviewer put it, and I quote, "Paths to Justice is a seminal text, a cataract of revelation about the state of civil justice at the end of the 20th century." This study has since been replicated in 27 jurisdictions around the globe, and there is now a recognised Paths to Justice tradition of studies of unmet legal need. The study is hugely cited and often a starting place for more recent research. In preparing this speech, I asked a number of colleagues about their use of the book. One showed me her copy, a little dog-eared and covered in post-it notes. It was key for her research. Secondly, in 2008, Dame Hazel was asked to present the highly regarded and prestigious Hamlin Lectures. The lectures discussed reforms to civil justice in England and around the world over the previous decade in the context of escalating expenditure on criminal justice and vanishing civil trials. In critically assessing the claims and practice of mediation for civil disputes, she questioned whether diverting cases out of the public courts and into the private dispute resolution promotes access to justice, looked critically at the changed expectations of the judiciary in civil justice, and pointed to the need for a better understanding of how judges do justice. As Michael Zander QC said in his review of the published lectures, quote, "Hazel Genn does not pull her punches. The lectures should be required reading, especially for policymakers in the government and for the senior judiciary." Beyond her research, Dame Hazel takes her insights into the legal system to her public life. She has been appointed to numerous public service roles concerned with the justice system. In January 2006, she was appointed an inaugural commissioner to the England and Wales Judicial Appointments Commission and served on the commission from 2006 to 2011, appointing judiciary at all levels, including the Court of Appeal and the UK Supreme Court. Dame Hazel was also a member of the Committee on Standards in Public Life from 2003 to 7, and in April 2009 she was appointed to the Secretary of State's Advisory Panel on Judicial Diversity. She worked with the Judicial Studies Board for 12 years, serving as a member of the main board and the Tribunals Committee, and contributing to the design and delivery of training for the judiciary at all levels. She served for 8 years as Deputy Chair and then Chair of the Economic and Social Research Council's Research Grants Board. Dame Hazel is currently a member of the Senior Salaries Review Board and Chair of the Judicial Subcommunity. Chancellor, for her pioneering socio-legal research into the civil justice system and her role in public life, particularly in the appointment and training of judges, and at a time when access to justice is under threat and its importance needs to be reaffirmed, it is an honour to present Dame Hazel Genn for the degree of Doctor of the University, honoris causa.
Thank you for that very kind introduction. I want to say how honoured I am to receive this degree from the University of York, and it's a particular delight for me to receive it from your Chancellor. The university has an excellent reputation for its research and teaching, and although I've not recently had a close connection with the university, I did years ago work with colleagues from across social science within this university. I've always been impressed by the enthusiasm of staff, both for inspirational teaching and original, impactful research that addresses the global challenges of our time, the sort of thing that we heard about just now from the previous honorary graduate. In fact, coming up on the train, I was reading some fascinating research by your psychologists on what makes a good teacher. I'm sure you've all got a view on that. Next, I want to add my congratulations to all of you graduating here today from across law, philosophy, politics, economics, and other social sciences. In thinking about my speech, I thought it's traditional to address to new graduates an attempt to say something wise and inspirational, drawing lessons from one's own career trajectory. But in reflecting on my career, I'm not sure how relevant my experiences of 30 or 40 years ago is today. I graduated, as you heard, in the early 1970s into a world that was less competitive and demanding, and I thrived in a professional environment that by today's standards would seem almost relaxed and was certainly much more secure. Graduating in 2017, you enter a world of tremendous opportunities, but also considerable uncertainty and much less job security. It's a world of rapid technological change, where the workplace, necessary skills, and even the nature of traditional professions is in constant flux, evolving, transforming, and revolutionizing. To flourish and succeed in today's world, you of course need to be focused and hard-working, as I'm sure you all are, but more than ever, you need to be flexible, adaptable, open-minded, and above all, resilient. By resilience, I mean the ability to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. I know that you've only just graduated, but in the next stages of your intellectual and professional development, you have to be ready to master new skills, to work in different ways, and to meet professional challenges as opportunities for growth rather than for causes for concern. And I would also make a plea. You're outstanding young women and men who've done brilliantly in a wide range of disciplines. As you graduate on this happy day, it's worth reflecting on the idea that the purpose of life is not merely to be happy, but to matter, to be productive, to be useful, to have it make some difference that you have lived at all. I hope that you will all be happy and that you will use your learning to make a difference for the good. Whatever field you go into, your knowledge is a valuable and influential asset, and I hope that in an uncertain
and increasingly unequal world, you will think of ways to use that knowledge for the benefit of society. In closing, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you and your parents on your achievement, which is marked by this ceremony today. I wish you all successful and rewarding futures, no matter what paths you take, no matter how many times you may shift your direction. And finally, I want to express again my thanks to the university for awarding me this honour and for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you all. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ensemble Eonomy will perform The Road Home by Stephen Paulus, followed by The Longest Time by Billy Joel.
take my chances. I forgot how nice romance is. I haven't been there for the longest time. Hold on, at the start. I said to myself, hold on to your heart. Now I know the woman that you are. You're wonderful so far, and it's more than I hoped for. I don't care what consequence it brings. I intend to hold you for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time. Whoa, for the longest time.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Economics. For Research in Hospital Performance and Patient Outcomes, Niels Gutacker. For Research in 3 essays on political economy of fiscal policy, Shiraz Rajput. For Research and Essays on Health and Family Economics, Valentina Tonne. For the degree of Master of Science in Economic Evaluation for Health Technology Assessment, Anna Halliday. Deepa Maharaj. Tommaso Piaggio. Eric Power. Jane Shaw. Bacco Stroven. Magnus Varant. For the degree of Master of Science in Economics, Xuan Dong. Alexandru Ionescu. Samuel Radford. Yuwe Tong. Robert Wishart. Ten Yu Shuang. For the degree of Master of Science in Economics and Finance, Yi Shen. Ten Yun Ju. For the Master of Science in Economics and Public Policy, Jingjing Chai. Fang Xinjuang. Ji Chao Ma. Ting Wang. For the degree of Master of Science in Finance, Eva Dela Cruz Buffy. Jia Wu Gao. Shuang Wu. Zi Yuan. Yu Chun Zhang. For the degree of Master of Science in Finance and Econometrics, Fabio Profumo. For the degree of Master of Science in Health Economics, Michael Brien. Edward Cox. Connor Daly. Abigail Doe. Aileen Farnell. Robert Hughes. David Jones. Stefano Lucarini. Evan Ucachao Moreno. Chiara Pastore. Ben Rothwell. Bovina Seawood Harry Buguth. Ewan Tomine. Antonio Ulrich. Helena Velacote. For the degree of Master of Science in Project Analysis, Finance and Investment, Wu Xinguo. Ukali. Kejian. Xuanxia Wang. Xue Wang. Zi Yingye. Zia Zhong. Wen Zhong. Yi Fan Zhong. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics, Jenny Bunga. Tom Deeth. Samuel Faint. Barnaby Gibb. Harry Hanley. Jamie Hayhurst. Olga Ilderton. Lewis Jarrett. Jonathan Loffran. Koshek Molik. Benjamin Rout. Richard Sangar. Louise Thompson. Tan Young. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics and Finance, Anthony Evedissian. Jonathan Mordovitz-Legrand. Hamza Shakur.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Linguistics. For research in second language acquisition, Anwar Al-Jadani. For research in children's developing awareness of regional accent, Ella Jeffries. For research in the syntax of speech acts, Rebecca Woods. For the degree of Master of Arts in Comparative Syntax and Semantics, Victoria Noble. For the degree of Master of Arts in Linguistics, Adriana Como. Hanqing Liu. Rohan Manoj. Fachin Suraya Mokhrafi. Patrick O'Rourke. Ive Otovwe. Philippa Jane Stewart. Long Yin Tam. For the degree of Master of Arts in Phonetics and Phonology, Megan Burdick. Helen Holmes. For the degree of Master of Arts in Sociolinguistics, Jennifer Lloyd. Smruti Mahankali. For the degree of Master of Science in Forensic Speech Science, Hannah Wanakursi Howe. Mary Louise Doramal. Lily Holton. Megan Jenkins. Jing Hoi Lo. Sarah Elizabeth Mullings. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in French and German Language with a year abroad, Jakub Suchastavski.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates. For the degree of Master of Laws in International Corporate Governance and Commercial Law, Gabriela Demetriou. Mei-Ying Li. Katya Sidimidi. Beryl Zaini. For the degree of Master of Laws in International Human Rights Law and Practice, Hidayah Abdelhamid. Alexandra Candido. Helen McCall. Emily Oulgard. Mark Solossi. Caitlin White. Adam Woodley. And Hannah Ray. And for the degree of Master of Laws in Legal and Political Theory, Nicholas Atwell. Clemmy Edgeworth. Enyaribe Ogu. And Rebecca Wilson.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Postgraduate Diploma in Creative Writing. Leslie Chapman. Hajira Daniel. Gabrielle Groves Gidney. Jackie Kerman. Robert Mills. Jane Purden. Sarah Spate. Sarah Williams. And for the degree of postgraduate diploma in railway studies, Peter Capon. Philip Eakins. Richard Evans. Barry Jones. Thomas Martin. Richard Scott. Kenneth Wheatley.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Mathematics for research on generalised models with unknown link function, Xiang Li. For the degree of Master of Science in Advanced Mathematical Biology, Louise Bell. Zoe Bright. Jonathan Woodward. For the degree of Master of Science in Financial Engineering, Nicholas Bennett. For the degree of Master of Science in Mathematical Finance, Jiawei Li. Shuran Li. Xinyang Wang. For the degree of Master of Science in Statistics and Computational Finance, Weiwei Gao. Christina Glicciotti. Xijie Huang. Jingming Liu. Joanna McSweeney. Jiachen Xie. Sen Zhang. For the degree of Master of Mathematics, Andrew Thomas. For the degree of Master of Mathematics in Mathematics and Computer Science, Ben Helstrip. Edwin Mitchell. For the degree of Master of Mathematics in Mathematics and Physics, Simon Ashworth. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Economics and Mathematics, Petros Kyriakou. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, Susan Davis. Alexander Edgerton. Michael Green. Maria Hyde. Jonathan Jackson. Christian Thomas. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Finance, Louise Allison. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Physics, Rachel Cole. For the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Statistics, Alison Cannon.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in Philosophy. For research in Soren Kierkegaard and the Christian spiritual life, Joshua Cockayne. For research in perception, content and conceptual engagement, Tai-Kyung Kim. For the degree of Master of Arts in Philosophy, Jennifer Riddell. Luke Townend. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, Harriet Bailey.
Chancellor, I have the honour to present the following candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Applied Human Rights, Julia Callahan. Ida Hansen. Celia Narud. Andrew Monyard. Kanak Wali Fadi Tai. Neil Rowe. Jonathan Rebos. For the degree of Master of Arts in Conflict, Governance and Development, Farha Al-Nasser. Obed Mendez Geronimo. For the degree of Master of Arts in International Political Economy, Kunjia Lee. For the degree in the Master of Arts in International Relations, Evren Alte. Tokwan Durayapinit. Kahal Khani. Kamila Zichkiewicz. the degree in the Master of Arts in Political Research, Hong Wang Du. Benjamin Whisker. For the degree in the Master of Arts in Political Theory, Eric Cardona Gomez. Alexander Tebble. For the degree in Master of Arts in Political and Legal Theory, Toleration. For the degree in Master of Arts in Post-War Recovery Studies, Mara Bar Abad. Elizabeth Bly. Catherine Cardwell. Doa El Dadiri. Yoko Gutu. Daisy Mash. William Padgham. Veronica Polgar. James Rosiah. Madeline Reeves. Matthew Russell. Emily Tripp. For the degree of Master of Arts in Public Administration and Public Policy, Alistair Buckle. Joseph Midgley. Alice Moore. Lauren Wilkinson. For the degree of Master of Public Administration, International Development, Valerie Simbal. Umiwumi Faba Punda. Angie Molano. For the degree of Master of Public Administration, Emma Morris. Helen Pointing. Mohammed Laid Slugu. And for the degree of Master of Arts in Bachelor of Arts in Politics and International Relations, Kinnair Pearce.
Chancellor, I have the honor to present the following candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Philosophy, Politics and Economics. Thomas Clark. Richard Jerram. Konstantin Stahenberg. Ceppo Chabalala. Jane Michael. Victoria Dimitrova. Curtis Hodgson. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Economics and Politics, Thomas Walker. For the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Philosophy, Politics and Economics, James Caddick. Lawrence Grisell. And Nasser Yusuf.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's extremely difficult for me to express the sense of honor and pride that I have as the graduands have walked across the podium today. It's a huge honor to, on your behalf and on behalf of the university, to be able to confer upon them the degrees that I just have done. I just need to reflect also that there are a number of graduates this year who are not able to be with us, and I now formally confer upon them their degrees in absentia. But what I'm delighted about today is also the number of you who are not in absentia. The number not only of our graduates, but also of family, of friends and supporters. I want to express on behalf of the university the warmest welcome to people who I know have made not just a special effort to get here, but in some cases an exceptional effort to come from around the world to join us in celebrating the enormous achievements of our graduates. Today, the hall is full primarily of those who have done postgraduate degrees. And I'm always truly humbled when I talk to those who have completed, in particular, a doctorate. At least 3 years of rigorous study, often focusing right down in an element of reductionism to the smallest possible thing in order to be able to make a fundamental contribution to human knowledge, because that's what a PhD is about. And we've seen this afternoon some outstanding examples of those who have worked hard and completed their doctorates here. So I, on behalf of all of you, would like to extend my personal congratulations. So, as a Chancellor, one stands here at the dais at the conclusion of a ceremony and one wonders what to say. So I consulted a number of undergraduate students at the University of York because I wanted to get a sense of what was the York way of preparing for a big occasion like this. And after a number of intensive tutorials, I realized that what I had to do was leave it to the last minute, get around a few friends for a few glasses of wine, watch a late-night movie, get onto social media, and then at 3:30 panic, drink gallons of black coffee in order to be in a fit condition to join you today. And so I have the York way, and it's a phenomenal experience to be able to be here and join in the way in which our students succeed. And I have sat historically in just about every bit of an auditorium in different graduation ceremonies in different universities, as myself, a shy undergraduate, as my 3 children have gone through, and conferring degrees and even getting, by mistake, an honorary degree, and then being able to stand here as Chancellor. And one thing I can be absolutely sure about, I cannot remember a word of whatever any Chancellor said in any of their graduation addresses. And so you are completely safe from being deviated from the paths of normality by whatever I may say this afternoon. And the best I can hope for is to act as a mild sedative. And actually, in those addresses, I include my own, so pedestrian that they needed their own zebra crossing. So let me, however, talk about the seriousness of a graduation ceremony because it's a formal ceremony. Those who came in today as graduands will go out shortly as graduates, and it's that formality of a rite of passage. But of course, much more than that, it's a celebration. It's really a celebration of terrific hard work and terrific achievement, and even for those who got through without any hard work. Nonetheless, we celebrate that as an exceptional achievement, which is worthy of comment. But it's a great occasion. I just remember, no, I don't really remember, but there was an occasion I've been told of a university who were refurbishing their graduation hall, and so it was necessary to move elsewhere and to construct a temporary podium for the students to walk across. And halfway through the ceremonies, there came onto the podium one of those really annoying undergraduates who wants to show off. None of them today, by the way, but they were. So he started jumping up and down, and halfway across the podium there was an almighty splintering sound, and he disappeared completely from sight. And a hush fell on the auditorium, broken only by his mother saying, "Just ignore him, it's just a stage he's going through." So, an honorary degree is the highest award a university can confer. And we've this afternoon experienced that in a remarkable way. Two exceptional individuals have been awarded honorary degrees, and may I say from a personal perspective, they're two who I have admired for decades. Not always for the qualities that were announced this afternoon in the citations. If I may say of Sir Partha Dasgupta, as a colleague heading a department in Cambridge, he was one of the most crafty and able heads of departments in head-to-head competition with every other department, in which economics always seemed to come out ahead in terms of the resources he was able to garner for them. So, Partha, if I must just pay public tribute to the many injuries and insults that I suffered heading a different department in Cambridge at the time. But what a fabulous career that we celebrate today. And, of course, Dame Hazel Genn, one of the greatest socio-legal scholars of our generation, and somebody who has been an inspiration to many. Because that's the two-way bet we make on honorary graduates. First, that they are people whose distinction rises above the rest of mankind and who we want to celebrate when they come into the graduation hall like this. But secondly, the sheer example that they can set to everybody else, and particularly to those who are graduating today. Both of our honorary graduands once sat where you are, and both of them had no idea of what way their careers would go in the future. So it's an extraordinary opportunity today to reflect that you too can be up here, maybe not in 10 years' time, or 20 or 30, but eventually to celebrate or to have your achievements celebrated before such a large audience. We don't always get it right. An honorary degree, first of all, on Armando Iannucci, who was the man who has written some of the most brilliant and biting political satire, most notably The Thick of It, which went on for several episodes and several series, and he was able to skewer the political establishment. What he didn't realize even last January, that what he wrote as satire has now become documentary. And our political structures bear little resemblance to even the worst excesses of his dreams. Indeed, I read recently he's just given up writing political satire because he cannot keep touch with what's going on in reality. The second honorary graduate was Roy Hodgson, who was the manager of the England football team. A charming man, by the way, and we gave him some really good advice about team selection and about placement of players on the field and the tactics, certainly in the first half. And I think it's really unfortunate that he listened to us. And England departed from Euro 2016 in what's known, I believe, as an early bath. But I'm sure that today's choices of honorary graduands will continue to cover us with distinction in the future. I am talking today just around an hour before the inauguration of the next President of the United States of America. And at a time probably of the greatest political division that our two great nations have seen since the Second World War. A time which threatens a move towards inward-looking governance, a breaking away from the openness, both economic, cultural and political, that we've had the pleasure of experiencing over the last 2 or 3 decades. The dark realities, the compromises that will inevitably have to score against the rhetoric of promises, both in Trumpism and in Brexitism. And a time that many would look on, maybe in the future, as being a dark era through which both of these countries are going. Like the US, we find ourselves in this country quite deeply internally divided. The Brexit referendum brought out passionate feelings on both sides. It brought out geographic divides. It brought out age divides amongst the population. So Prime Minister May inherits, I think, an immensely more complex set of political choices than any Prime Minister since Winston Churchill. We, I think, have the prospect of not only the fragmentation of Europe, but the fragmentation of the United Kingdom, the risk to Northern Ireland and to Scotland, the isolation of other parts of Europe as the model of Brexit potentially gets rolled out elsewhere. This reaction to globalization, which as a movement of recent decades has of course allowed the fortunes of millions of people across the world to be raised, to bring employment out of grinding agricultural poverty to populations in China and in India, a population in China that's now seeking to provide higher education for something like 40 million additional students every year. Last week I was in India with the Minister for Higher Education in India. The prospect there of providing higher education to additional 30 million students a year. We have, by the way, 1 million in this country. America has 20 million students in higher education. Imagine the prospect of bringing it to 30 million extra every year. And that is what the next phase of a globalized economy could help to deliver. So we are today at a stage where those options that we looked at with some optimism only a year or two ago seem now to be receding very fast. It does call for statesman-like behavior everywhere, statesman-like behavior on the part of statesmen and statesman behavior on the part of all of us. So today I prefer not to dwell on those dark clouds, but to ask myself, what is it that the optimism of today's graduates can bring to our society in the future? And I go further than optimism. We can all have optimism. But the thing that trumps, if I may use the word, the thing that trumps optimism is hope. The hope that we can have a better future. The hope that what we can do as graduates who are intelligent and who are educated and are trained can bring to the world of the future. Because that world, irrespective of what happens politically, will be changed irreversibly in the coming years in the employment that we can provide our populations. Most critically, the onward march of new technology, the continuation of trends of robotics, of miniaturization, and above all of artificial intelligence. A recent report published by Boston Consulting Group suggests that artificial intelligence itself and these other technologies will create around 600 million jobs in China. In Germany, that they will suppress 300,000 jobs, but create 900,000 jobs. So the fear that we have of new technologies removing employment and taking it away from the population generally may not be entirely true. With artificial intelligence, which is the model in which we no longer program computers in binary code, but allow them to program themselves through a neural circuitry model of computing, opens up the possibility, indeed now the probability, that not just the menial labor jobs that went in the earlier industrial revolutions, but in the fourth industrial revolution, what will go will be the jobs which are requiring an intelligence. Those at the front of the queue are probably accounting, auditing, which can already be highly automated by machines that teach themselves how to do it in real time. Indeed, the more precisely you can define your job, the greater the likelihood it's going to disappear. So, what do we do about that? I think we have to say that the jobs that will survive are those that require creativity, those which require fluidity, those which require emotion, and those which don't follow rules, those which really use our native intelligence to do things differently. So who will get those jobs in the future, and what's the relevance of that to our graduating class? I would say, first of all, the prizes will go to those who are the most agile, those who can adapt the most rapidly to a fast-changing environment. And there is the recipe for future success in this world. Secondly, and fundamentally, is integrity. It's the ability in a post-truth, post-fact world to maintain to truth and to fact, for those are the fundamental values of any university. This is where the prizes will ultimately lie. You cannot talk yourself out of things that you have behaved yourself into. Thirdly, and I think absolutely critically, is that the fourth industrial revolution won't solve the problems of unequal distribution of wealth and opportunity across populations. It will shift it. New prizes will go to new populations and away from existing populations. And so I think the critical thing is to be able to focus on the left behind, that cry of pain that was represented by Brexit, was represented by Trumpism, the move to populism, to the sort of guy who can get things done, as opposed to actually delivering on those promises, making sure that our populations are not left behind, either by globalization or by post-globalization in the new and challenging world. So I would urge our graduating class that this is a time not for pessimism. I think it's a time of great opportunity, a time of great hope. But it's certainly not a moment for entitlement. Gone are the days when graduation conferred an automatic right to get a high-quality job. I'm reminded of the young graduate from a university who was fortunate enough to be offered a management trainee job in a major supermarket. On his first day, he turned up for work, met his manager, who welcomed him very warmly and handed him a broom and said, "Right, your first task is please to sweep out the store." The graduate looked perplexed and he said, I think there may be a misunderstanding. He said, I'm a graduate. I'm here on graduate training. And the manager said, "Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, I forgot." He said, "Just hand me back the broom and I'll show you how it works." So it's not entitlement. We have, all of us, an enormous amount to learn. I do want to convey to our graduating class just the enormous pleasure of not only being a member of the York community today, but also a member of an alumni network across the world. We've now got 100,000 alumni in touch across the world, and you will add to those numbers. But I'm very humbled by wherever I go in the world, people keep saying, "University of York, yes, I was there," or "My sister was there, and can we just communicate on this, and how do I get into the network?" I've seen this before with other universities, but particularly with this one, a huge and abiding affection and a connection with this university and an ambition to help it to continue to improve. So please do keep in touch, join the Alumni Society, and please, I'd like to see you anywhere in the world at any time in the future, and let's at that time renew our affection for York. So, in conclusion, I need to say a few words of thanks. The first is to those who have organized this event. It doesn't just happen by magic. As always, there are field marshals outside with clipboards and issuing us with strict instructions as to where to go and when. But that's what makes it such an enjoyable and pleasant and cohesive event. So my thanks to those. I would also like to thank that ensemble, E-Anonymy. They were students. I mean, actually, the population of the group changes a little every year as students graduate and new ones come in, but they were absolutely splendid, and to me, represent the great culture that's at the heart of this university. So, E-Anonymy, please will you join me in thanking them? And then, of course, there's you. I mean, I just am bowled over by the parents, families, friends, children, and supporters who have come today to pay homage and tribute and congratulate our graduates today. So you're, again, so welcome to the campus of the University of York, and thank you for joining our warm community today. And finally, our graduates. Will you please join me once again in expressing our heartfelt congratulations to them on their achievements. I declare this congregation closed. Thank you.